Welcome back, team, to another Saturday tester. Now this week's Saturday tester is called Jimi. This is an interpretation of the workout that came out at the semi-finals this past weekend, which is going to be 2 minutes of work, 2 minutes of rest, and we are going to be completing 5 rounds. Within the workout, we're going to be going through 20 toaster bar, or your allotted amount of toaster bar, into 20 dual dumbbell power cleans, into max gorilla burpee box jump overs. Now that's the funky one. Now for those of you that have been doing the LPC for some time, you will have had exposure to this movement. If not, it's going to be something a little bit funky to get your teeth into for this week. Now what will we be testing? Now we will be testing your straight arm pulling. This is with your toaster bar. We will also be testing your pulling endurance due to the fact that 2 of these movements, the toaster bar and the dual power clean, are both pulling movements. With both of those movements also being quite grip intensive, we will also be testing your grip over these 5 rounds. Now, like I said, we are going to be working for 2 minutes and resting for 2 minutes, but your score is going to be the total amount of reps that you complete within your working interval. So we will also be testing your pacing over a 5-round workout. How does this fit into your current training program? Now we know we're just starting week 1 of the training program. Now if you also notice on a Friday, it is going to be very squat biased, which means our Saturday testers have to be hinge biased or pulling biased, just so that we're not overlapping with the LPC. For the next couple of weeks, we will also be testing your gymnastic pulling strength due to the fact that the Perform Compete crew are going to be going through handstand push-ups on Wednesday, which means we want to be deloading a lot of the pushing movements for the next couple of weeks. Pacing. Now, like I said, most of us watched the semi-finals over the weekend, and this was a style of a workout that we saw within those kind of semi-finals across the globe. That was the 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off for accumulating scores. Now, if you haven't watched it, I would advise you to go ahead and take a little look at those events, because it was a fun one and we might even get some takeaways to put into our own pacing strategies. Now, unlike previous weeks, this is an equal work to rest workout, which means the working time and the resting time is the same across the board, doesn't matter what track you're in, which means because we're getting a little bit more rest, we can potentially push a little bit harder, especially towards the kind of 3, 4, and 5 round marker. Remember, your score here is total reps. So what we don't want to be doing here is getting bottlenecked by one of these movements by going too fast in the earlier rounds. For example, in round 1, if you got 15 burpee gorilla box jump overs and then you got 0 on round 3, we need to start to understand our pacing strategy a little bit more. Remember, we have 2 movements to get through before we get to that final piece. So we want to be making sure that we're either implementing a braking strategy, or we're taking nice breaks moving from one movement to the next, or the cadence at which that we're completing the movement is slowed down so that we can continue to move, especially through these latter rounds where those scores are going to be made up. Let's make sure we grab a buddy, get a 7-day free trial, team, and we'll see you on the leaderboard.